I've wanted a Squier JagMaster guitar for actually quite some time now. After looking at the Standard and Vista models and the prices that they sell for, I ended up going for a Vintage Modified JagMaster. I found one for a really great price of just over $200 and I bought it. I purchased it from Guitar Center, which is always kind of a crapshoot on used gear, but for the price I took the gamble. I wanted a collectible guitar. When the guitar arrived, I realized that a few things did not show up clearly in the photos. The tuners had been replaced with Fender modern tuners. The bridge pickup was not a Duncan Designed pickup, but instead a DiMarzio. The original electronics had been replaced with a mixed bag of parts. And lastly, the tremolo had been replaced with a better aftermarket made tremolo with a heavy brass trem block, full size. The guitar was not original and therefore not a collectible, but I was okay for what I paid for it. The timing could not have been better. I had recently released a video where I installed a Seymour Duncan P-Roll pickup and a Squier Tom DeLonge signature Stratocaster, and I absolutely love the tones that I'm able to get out of the guitar. So much so that I said in the video that I wanted to take a guitar and install two of the pickups. My JagMaster would be the perfect platform to do this experiment. I looked up wiring diagrams, and the first one I found was a single push-pull 500K volume, single push-pull 500K tone, a three-way toggle pickup selector switch with two of the P-Roll pickups installed. The wiring diagram was from Seymour Duncan and was one of the examples supplied with a set of P-Rolls pickups in the box when you buy them. With the combination of two push-pull pots and the three-way pickup selector switch, you could get pretty much 10 different tones out of the guitar. I ordered two 500K push-pull Bourns pots and a set of the Seymour Duncan P-Roll pickups, but I ordered them in white since the original pickups in the JagMaster were white. Here's some of the specs of my Squier Vintage Modified JagMaster, which is kind of an anomaly. The body is made of alder with a maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. The neck is standard Fender specs of 9.5-inch radius, 1.65 inch nut, 22 medium jumbo frets, and here's the anomaly, a 24-inch scale, and I'll explain this later. The bridge tremolo is a Stratocaster style tremolo. The guitar was made in Indonesia from 2004 to 2012. Used the guitar goes for $223 to about $368. The JagMaster as a guitar was first released as part of the Squier Vista series that was made in Japan in 1996 and came out with a 24-inch scale length. Squier seemed to bounce back and forth with scale length as the guitar was discontinued, re-released, discontinued, and re-released as different lines of Squiers. In 2000, the guitar was re-released with a 25.5-inch scale. Then in 2005, with the release of the JagMaster 2, saw the reintroduction of the 24-inch scale length. Then in 2004, the Vintage Modified series was released with a 25.5-inch scale. Oddly enough, my guitar is a Vintage Modified guitar from 2009, and it is a 24-inch scale guitar. My guess is somewhere during production of the Vintage Modified series, they changed the scale length of the guitar. The reason I say that is when I go on the Fender serial number database and type this in, it shows my guitar when it was made and that it actually does have a 24-inch scale length. Ultimately, Squier just replaced the JagMaster altogether by having dual humbucker versions of the Jazzmaster and Jaguar models of guitars. My parts arrived and I was excited to do the project. I should have measured my guitar before I set off on a tangent. In the video, you'll see that I've installed a maple neck. The frets on the original neck have a pretty decent amount of wear on them. I didn't want to work on them in the scope of this video. So I decided that since the guitar was supposedly 25.5-inch scale and the neck pocket was the same as a Stratocaster, that I'd install a new all-part Strat neck on the guitar with a large headstock. No matter what I did, I could not get the guitar to intonate. I measured my guitar with the original neck back on, and the damn thing measured at 24 inches and intonated right away. I then typed in the serial number, as I said before, into the Fender serial number database, and sure enough, the guitar was a 24-inch scale and Vintage Modified guitar. No matter the resources I've checked online, a Vintage Modified JagMaster guitar is supposed to be a 25.5-inch scale guitar. So I ended up doing some work on the original neck, making it far more playable, and then I moved forward with using it in the project. It's a rosewood neck, which is actually kind of cool. The project was fairly straightforward. I installed the 2 pickups into the pickguard, and then installed the 2 Bourne's 500K push-pull pots. I needed to use a hand reamer to open the holes in the pickguard for the 2 pots, just a little, since the original pots were smaller metric pots. The wiring of the harness was pretty straightforward and easier than the prior guitar that I installed with the P-roll pickup. I installed a 0.047 UF capacitor in the circuit. I may end up though changing this out and trying a 0.022 UF or 0.033 UF. The sound coming out of the guitar right now has a lot of highs. I mean, more than I would expect. I guess I could just turn down the tone knob, but I'll experiment and then see what I want to do. I like how the guitar looks with the 2 white P-roll pickups. Very cool and clean looking. I'm continually amazed about how many sounds you can get out of these pickups. This is a very versatile guitar now. The rails are much more powerful pickups than I would have ever expected. I think you look at the pickup and you see the larger P90 and then the smaller rail, and then you expect the sound produced from them to be commensurate with the size, but it's not true. The P90 is far more subtle and quieter than the smaller rail, and then the smaller rail pickup just screams.